Today I'll be presenting what it costs to produce a barrel of oil, based off of the documentary Gasol and other research that I did. What goes into the cost or pricing of a barrel of oil? The main elements that go into the pricing are labor, equipment costs, and then the materials, obviously, that go into the oil itself. The summary of the documentary that we watched, I watched Gasol. It was a documentary about people that were able to and have before get really good gas mileage compared to what we get today in current cars. And also there's other ways of better, not so much of polluting emissions that come from vehicles. There was a story in the documentary about a man who lived with his wife in just a regular suburban neighborhood. He started a project on a car that he had before. He wanted to get better gas mileage out of the vehicle, so he began working on it. And after a while, he noticed that there were some people outside the front of his house occasionally that were just sitting there for a while. And he got really suspicious, and then he just all around stopped the whole project because he didn't want he didn't want to get hurt, and he didn't want his wife to get hurt or anything bad to happen to them. There were also a few other stories mentioned in the documentary how there were people just like him working on a project for better gas mileage with vehicles, and after a while, after they finished the project and succeeded, they were found dead, whether that be a car crash or just random death, I guess. And people were very suspicious that it was possibly Shell Oil Company or just other bigger companies with power that didn't want this knowledge getting out to people because they wanted to make more money or more profit off the oil. Shell Oil Company has been quiet about past discoveries on better gas mileage. They were known to purchase or basically buy out people their patents or their projects so that it couldn't get out to everybody else, and they just haven't spoken on the fact of all that. Thesis of my presentation. There are obviously ways of producing vehicles with amazing gas mileage, such as maybe even 100 miles to the gallon. That has been spoken about before, and obviously it's a good possibility. But even then, if that were to happen, a lot of the big companies would be losing out on money or not be selling as much oil as they do now, because the average of today is about 30-ish to 25 miles to the gallon. The author or writer of this film wants the audience to know that there are ways to make your monthly costs for gas prices or oil prices to go down. We just need to speak up on the situation and get it known that it's a possibility. Sources, Elena, she was the writer on what it costs to produce a barrel of oil from CNN. And then Jim Garrett, he was the writer of what determines retail prices for gasoline and diesel. That was by Volta Oil. There weren't any dates on the website, that's why I put that thing there. This is just kind of a points covered of her documentary or her website. It was production cost in the States for one barrel is $36. In Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, they can pump up to a barrel of oil for about $10. That's about it, compared to our $36 here in the States. In comparison to Iraq, they can pump a barrel for $10.70. So not much difference, but they also predict that most Middle Eastern countries will run out of cash within 5 years if the prices don't rise above $50 per barrel, just because they're not making enough money off of what they're producing. So for Jim Garrett's site, some of the points he covered were additives tend to increase the cost. Cost to refine gasoline varies between 40 cents and 70 cents per gallon, depending on whether and the summer or winter formulas are being used at that time. The cost to refine gasoline is 60 cents a gallon. The cost to refine diesel is 49 cents a gallon, so a little bit of difference there. My conclusion, the research shows that the manufacturers are almost doubling their money when it comes to just buying and selling, but they still have to pay the middleman, such as shipping and labor. Granted, I don't know the exact cost of those actions, like shipping and labor and paying all the other people. They're still making a pretty good profit off of that oil that they're producing. There's been proven better ways of gas mileage, I guess. It should be shared with the world, in my opinion, because it's crazy how expensive just to own a vehicle is when that comes to buying it and just all the maintenance and stuff. And that's without mentioning all the blown out tires or all the recalls or anything like that. So, and then one thing I actually wanted to see if I can go back here. Wanted to go back to I don't know where it's at. Cost to refine gasoline. Okay, well that's it. Thanks for watching my presentation.